guys, this is Jackie, your nerdy crafter. I think we've established the fact that if I have a living thing that is not noisy, I tend to forget about it. So that includes plants and home aquariums. So most of my plants are plastic. So many of you guys really liked my resin and clay combination tutorials, and so you've requested it numerous times. And since I'm not a person that likes to disappoint, this week's tutorial you guys will learn how to make a saltwater tank. And if you're into these kinds of projects, make sure that you check out my jellyfish tank tutorial. Here's what you'll need for this project. Your mold, I'm using a rectangular one, but feel free to use any other shape. This one was bought from Daiso. Some chalk pastels, a toothbrush for texture. Now this is only for clay, don't use this for your teeth. And now for all the colors we're going to be using. Orange, green, light blue, red, purple, yellow, a tan color. I just mixed 2 different tones, black, and some translucent. You're also going to need your resin kit. I get a lot of questions asking me where to buy this and if you should only be using resin. Ideally you should, and I got this from Michael's, so make sure that you do get resin. Some sand, a cutter, rounded and pointy tools, a glue gun, some acrylic paint, rubbing alcohol, and a Q-tip to clean up your piece in case you got too many fingerprints. Now the first thing we're going to do is create the base of sand for our tank. For that, take your glue gun, put some at the bottom of the tank, not on the back, but rather on one of the sides, and then sprinkle some of the sand on there. Don't put too much. What you want to do is really create that base so that we can build upwards from there. Get rid of the excess inside your pot. You should get a base that looks like this. Let it completely cool down and then remove it from the mold. Here's our base. Now clean it up. Now take your tan clay, put a tiny little bit of sand into it, and then mix it together. And then we're going to create the base of our biggest rock so that the coral pieces grow on top of it. So that you're getting a piece that has all these little tiny rocky feels to them. Take your sand base and your rock base, and you're going to flatten this piece out so that it's much slimmer than your base. And then you're going to make sure that it comes down from top to bottom so that it covers at least 1/3 of the center part, so that you have something like this. Take your toothbrush and make some really good deep indents on that rock. There we go. Now mix your red and translucent clay together. Mix in a little white to get it a little pinkish. Now set this aside. Now take your green clay, make a little flat donut out of it so that the top is rounded and the bottom is a little flatter. Now make little lines all the way across like you're cutting a pizza. Now make at least 2 or 3 of those, and then we're going to add the color later on. Take your yellow and flatten it out really, really thin. This thickness should do. Start folding it like you're making a skirt. Here's another piece. Now put that aside as well. Now take your purple and make a star shape out of it, and then flatten it down slightly from the ends only, not from the top, to make the starfish. Take some darker purple with your chalk pastel and dust it right on top. Now feel free to make a few different colors of a starfish. Take your blue clay, roll it out into thin snakes. Take your pointy tool and make a hole right in the middle. Now mix some dark blue with your translucent clay, flatten it out really thin, and then make long circles out of it. Take your orange clay and place it behind this bigger rock. So make sure that they're both flat on the same level. Take your rounded tool and make some indents into this one. Now at this point, it really is your preference, so place them how you think you want them to be. Now for these green little guys, take some red on your rounded tool, push it right in the middle, and then take some white paint or chalk pastel, and then color one triangle, skip one. Now set this aside on your baking tray, let's work on the fish. The first fish is going to be fairly simple. You're going to make a chubby teardrop. Then for the fins, you're going to mix your yellow with your translucent and then place them in the right places. Now the rest of the fish are going to be pretty much the same shape, except you're going to vary the colors. Feel free to put chalk pastel, paint, a little bit of everything to make them look unique. Feel free to also vary the shapes to make them longer or chubbier. Once you have your fish and your decoration, bake them for 10 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure that your oven was preheated. Once everything is baked, we're going to glue the decoration onto the sand section. Now what you're going to do is take your glue gun, put some on the area that you want to put your decoration, sprinkle some sand on it, and then place your piece. That way it doesn't look like it's hovering over nothing, so it has something to rest on. So that you're getting something like this. Now mix your resin according to your package's instructions. Now before we pour in our resin, place your fish so that you know exactly how you want them. Since we're doing 2 layers so that some of the fish seem nearer and some seem further, then take a picture of it so that you know exactly how you wanted it. Once you're happy with it, make the first layer of resin, then place your decoration, and then place your fish. Once that has completely cured, feel free to put in your second layer. Once your first layer of resin has hardened, pour in your second layer. Feel free to come back at least 2-3 times every half an hour to make sure that the bubbles have not risen to the top. Once it's completely cured, we're going to take it out of the mold. Now take your black clay, flatten it out thin, and then you're going to put it as the borders of the tank from the top and the bottom. Now take your rubbing alcohol and Q-tip and rub off any kind of fingerprints you may have gotten on the piece. Now we're going to put this in the oven. And yes, it is safe to put resin in the oven as long as it's really low temperatures. So put it at a maximum of 250 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius, for 8 minutes. Once your 8 minutes are up, make sure you take it out of the oven. Don't leave it in there. Once it's baked, feel free to take a background picture, cut it into size from the back, and then glue it right there. So you'd have something that looks like this. All done! If you're a huge Finding Nemo fan, nothing stops you from making that aquarium at the dentist office. So you can put all your favorite characters in there. If you have suggestions for future geeky tutorials, leave them in the comments section below. And if you want to see more tutorials like this, make sure you click that subscribe button. And make sure you add me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Until then, I will see you guys next week.